Hey. Ready when you are.
Hi.
Difficult away game. Conceded 2 goals, but more worryingly, haven't created that much. Only 1 shot on target. How did you see the game?
Yeah, I think what we've done overall has been, I've been very, very happy with as the season's panned out and we've grown as a team. And I think with that, the performance levels have been pretty consistent, really, even if results have fallen one way or the other. Today we have to own the fact that we didn't play particularly well in the first half. We didn't hit the levels that we have been doing. We came up against a team that I felt up their levels from what I've seen, and yeah, we need to own that, really. It's a demanding league, really demanding league, with some outstanding individuals, and if you don't nail certain parts of the game and you don't perform to a certain level, and we'll look into it further as to why we think that was, clearly, you'll become unstuck, and I think that's what happened in the first half. We didn't play as well as we have been doing. Thank you.
Jay.
Hi, Keith.
Hey.
You mentioned it there that you think Brentford dropped their levels and Spurs maybe up theirs. Was there anything that you felt that Spurs did differently than what you expected?
You're always kind of having a look at the teams in the last 10 days, what it might look like as the opposition rotate certain personnel, what the relationships are in terms of fullbacks, wingers, as an example. But in terms of personnel, maybe going with the 2 strikers. No, I don't think it alternated really from too much from what we prepared. We're always quite adaptable and flexible in terms of preparation going into a game. So no, I don't think that was the case. I just think our levels today weren't where they have been.
And then can I just ask for your perspective on Tottenham's second goal, the Xavi goal, where he seems to pick it up in the centre circle, and yeah, just what's your perspective on what maybe Brentford did wrong to let that goal happen?
Yeah, I think if you pause it as he is in and around having that ball, and I think if you look at it and think he's going to score 6, 7, 8 seconds later, whatever it was, it will be difficult to fathom. And like I said, in the first half, we didn't hit the levels that we have been doing pretty consistently, and I think that was a good example of the levels that we didn't hit, because it was a goal that was, for me, very much avoidable.
Hi, Keith. You've obviously come away to a club that are in the Champions League and one of the top 6, but is there kind of that added frustration that, given Spurs' home form this season, there was kind of an opportunity there if you really could hit the levels?
Yeah, I think we showcased during the week, going to the team that's top of the league, that we will play without fear. I want the team. I set the team up in a way, regardless of the system and the personnel, that I have absolute faith in the players. They've been absolute immense since I've taken over overall, when the reality is there was a cloud around the club and a narrative around the club of scepticism, I suppose. I think that's quietened clearly with that expectation levels raise. Understandably, it's the nature of the game and life. So when you come here today, I had absolute faith that we would perform and get a result, and it's not misplaced optimism. I see the players on a daily basis. We do our due diligence on the opposition, and we feel like we can hurt any team in this league, and we've shown that we can do that. And like I've said, I think today we didn't. Well, I know we didn't hit the levels that we have been doing pretty consistently.
And how was it for you going up against Thomas? Obviously, someone you know really well, worked with last season. Was it sort of strange looking across to him on the other side of the touchline?
No, not at all. I think it's very much, I've been in this position before, obviously not as a head coach, but when you come up against friends, people you know, people you've known for years and years, it's a game you want to win. I think the reason we do this is because we want to compete, we want to win games, we want to achieve. So it was seeing Thomas briefly before, but no, it didn't feel strange at all. I was just totally engrossed in the game and how that looked and felt.
Chat behind.
Hi, thanks, Keith. Thiago, for all people saying here that Brentford only had like a shot. Thiago got himself into 4 or 5 really good positions in the 6-yard box, but Van de Ven, who was immense today, I'm sure you'd agree, shut him down. I mean, when you take this is how I saw it anyway, because on other occasions with Brentford, when Thiago's had that sort of space, he scored. He didn't score today. Do you take a player aside to talk to him about those kind of confrontations when he's clearly up against a world-class defender? What he can do to get himself into positions where he's more likely to score? Just wondering about that.
He's coming up against 2 very good defenders today. And Thiago's a marked man now, clearly, with the season he's had so far and the goals that he's got, the performance levels. So he's, I think you've hit the nail on the head. He gets in the positions to be able to score. He's learning that all the time. And in general, we work with all players around the development of their individual game within the structure of the team, obviously. And Thiago's a prime example of that, constantly working on his movement, the timing of it, where he's supposed to be. And you're right, I felt there could have been 2 or 3 moments this afternoon where first touch going a certain way would have taken him away from the defender. Obviously the opportunity quite late on, he's been banging them in, but unfortunately today he couldn't quite do that. But he's he's been sensational this season.
We'll do Sam and then John.
Hi Keith. Sharda picked up his 5th yellow card of the season. How big of a miss is that going to be?
Yeah, listen, he's been on 4 now for a few weeks, and similarly to Nathan, so it's the nature of the game, I suppose. It's an area of the pitch where we haven't got lots and lots of options, I suppose. But as we've shown in recent weeks, Wednesday being a prime example, we've got a squad that I have absolute faith in. You can see that today, making the sub at half time. I feel like it's something that might do more often in terms of energising the game earlier rather than later. But Kev's been good for us. He's versatile, obviously, in terms of how he plays and the way we can play with him. But it's just the nature of the game, isn't it?
And you speak there about maybe not having too many options in that position. Is that something that you might look at in January?
I think the club are always looking at options, and it's been well documented the last window. So I'm sure there's going to be options that we will look at and look to do in January if we feel it's right.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you.
Thank you.
So John and then Paul.
Hi Keith.
Hey.
No Reece Nelson in the squad. Was that enforced, or was that tactical, or what was?
Yeah, Reece picked up an injury last weekend against Burnley, slight knock. So that was an enforced one where he couldn't take part today. So we'll see how he is in the next week or so.
Any inclination of how serious that might be? Or?
Not really, not at the moment. We'll just see how he is in the next week or so, and we'll have a better idea exactly how he is.
And then just one more. Obviously, the home and away form results are quite stark, but are you seeing the same intensity and level of performance in the away performances as the home, or would you like to see that more?
I seen it on Wednesday against Arsenal. I seen it the vast majority against Brighton. I seen it at West Ham. I seen it in a lot of away games. I think this afternoon, like I said, we need to understand that we didn't hit the levels that we have been doing, and really learn from it and try and identify why. Always opposition plays a part. Was it them? Was it us? I think there's always going to be a balance of that, clearly. But yeah, we need to look in the mirror first around what we've prepared and how it materialised and what we could have done a little bit different. Thank you.
Paul. Was there anything?
Keith, we all know hindsight is 20/20, but do you think maybe the lineup you had in the second half, when Ayer came off, was maybe what you should have started with? That you lacked a bit of pace in defence in the first half and got shown up over it?
No, I wouldn't say that. I think now Chris is one of the quickest defenders we have at the club. Stats don't lie. He's played left back pretty well for us when he's played there this season, and he played very, very well against Arsenal on Wednesday night. Was probably one of our best players against Arsenal. Listen, you're right. Hindsight's always a lovely thing, isn't it? To look back, and I'm not so sure it was the team selection, but But again, we'll have to have a proper look at that over the next day or so.
And do the 2 defeats in the last sort of 3-4 days, does that amount to a little bit of a reality check to where the club is, really? Would you accept that?
As in going away to 2 teams that are playing in the Champions League and not winning and not... Yeah, I think the reality is we go to these clubs and we go toe-to-toe. We did that on Wednesday. We tried to do it today. We didn't hit the levels. And we'll always do that. As long as I'm in charge, we will embrace challenges and have a right good go. But equally, when you don't hit the levels, you need to own it and you need to do what I'm doing now, and then you need to accept that you weren't the team today that deserved to get something from the game, and that was the case, unfortunately. Thank you.
I think that's it, isn't it? Thank you, everybody.
Take care.
Cheers. Thanks very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, if I can get you